This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the new premier elected to serve the Turks and Caicos Islands has Bahamian ties. The first female to hold the position says during her time in office, she hopes to strengthen ties with the Bahamas. Bahamian-born attorney Charlene Cartwright Robinson became the first female premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands following elections last week. She was born in Grand Bahama in the settlement of Pinedale and 8 Mile Rock and lived there with her parents until the age of 6 when they relocated to the Turks and Caicos Islands. We spoke with the new premier about her historic win by telephone.
I've held many first female posts, and you can appreciate that this one is, of course, different in that, the first female premier. But I have not dwelled on that very much during the campaign at all. In fact, one of my slogans was, "I'm just the best man for the job." So people would have seen me working and standing shoulder to shoulder with men in what is a male-dominated field.
Premier Robinson, who heads the People's Democratic Movement, PDM, has been in politics for the past 18 years. After leading her party to victory, she says it's now time to get to work. She says she will always maintain close ties with the Bahamas.
Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas are one people. We all have the same family and many of the same islands. We sound alike. We probably listen to more Bahamian music than you do over there. So we do have that social tie. Politically, we continue to try in ways that we can work together. And you'd appreciate politically with dependent status and independent status, those relationships will be limited. But socially, we're inseparable. Culturally, we're inseparable. And definitely, that will never change.
The Premier's siblings and other family members reside here on Grand Bahama. They gathered at her sister Sandra D. Cartwright Hanfield's home to celebrate this significant achievement. Sandra D. says they are all beaming with pride.
I always knew from a child that she would have done something to make history because from a child she was always a leader. And she's never afraid of anything.
Cousins Minna Alton Winters, Hadley Forbes, and friend Donna Musgrove are all excited about this major accomplishment.
I am so proud of her accomplishments. She's ranking with, world-class leaders such as Angela Merkel from Germany, the Chancellor of Germany. That's where my cousin is today.
And only could happen because God is able. And he orchestrated this to be just like this and this time.
I know for a fact that she's an advocate of the people. I know that she's a confidant, and she will do extremely well in representing the entire nation.
The Premier and her team will be sworn in during a formal ceremony in the Turks and Caicos next Thursday, December 29th. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News. A well-known Anglican priest has now taken the oath of office as a Justice of the Peace. Canon Curtis Robinson, rector of the St. Mary Magdalene Church in West End, was sworn in by Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson this morning. Family, friends, and church members assembled at the Garnet Lavarity Justice Center to witness the special occasion.
It was not until persons kept coming to me to help them with documents, and I was not able to exercise that duty because I was not a justice of the peace, that it dawned on me that I needed to get it done. And now, for the community of West End, it is truly an honor because, as you know, there's so many elderly people who cannot travel to Freeport. There's so many persons who really don't have the means to get documents certified. And so now with the rector and the priest in West End being a justice of the peace, I can truly help.
Canon Robinson's son, Ruin, says he's extremely proud of his father.
I know that with this, he'll be able to help the community that much more in West End because after what happened with Hurricane Matthew, they really need it, and this is definitely a win for them.
The Christmas holidays are approaching, and the Police Traffic Department is issuing a special advisory to all road users. Italia Hall has the story.
The officer in charge of the Traffic Division, ASP Kenwood Taylor, says he is concerned about the safety of the motor in public during this festive season. He adds that the number one rule motorists should follow is to not drink and drive.
If you're attending a party and you've had something to drink, have a designated driver. Do not text and drive. Texting and driving is one of the root causes of traffic accidents in Grand Bahama and throughout the world.
He says you should not be behind the wheel if you are fatigued.
If you're tired, pull to the side of the road and get some rest. Do not drive while you're sleepy. Please leave your residence or work place in sufficient time to avoid speeding to your next destination. Please drive within the required speed limit. All of the streets in Grand Bahama are properly signed and they have the specified speed limit attached.
The traffic cop is encouraging everyone to wear a seatbelt at all times and to ensure that all motor vehicles are licensed, insured, and inspected.
Ensure that your vehicles are not tinted or obscured in any way, preventing the police from seeing the interior of that vehicle from the exterior. Please do not modify your headlights or your vehicle. This is an offense. Do not play loud music while driving your vehicle because this is a distraction to other drivers and yourself. Persons riding motorcycles, ensure that you are properly equipped with a helmet and ride responsibly.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The U.S. Coast Guard bringing 3 Cuban migrants to Grand Bahama today. The men were intercepted in Bahamian waters in a rustic vessel. The Cubans claimed that they left Cuba last week with the hope of going to the United States. This is the 4th group of Cubans to be brought to Grand Bahama within the past week. Immigration officers apprehending 3 Ecuadorians in Freeport yesterday. Reports say the 3 were walking on the Mall Drive and were stopped by immigration officers. Officers determined that one of the Ecuadorians had overstayed his visitor's time. The other 2 are said to be known to the Immigration Department as they were arrested about a month ago in Freeport for making preparatory steps to enter the United States. Back then, the Ecuadorians were sent back home and somehow found their way back in Grand Bahama. All of the migrants were transported to New Providence to await repatriation. Stay with us. There's more news after this.